on to the quarterfinals. KongDoo Uncia versus Runaway will be our second best of 5 of the night. We just saw Lunatic High take down Envious 3-0. Now we move on to another match that is a little bit of a David versus Goliath story, I think. Runaway has looked a little bit better recently, but KongDoo Uncia has been a fantastic team all season long.
And it's still hard to get a read on Runaway. Did they 3-0 Fnatic in their last match? Yes, they did. They did it with a new roster, but again, now we're seeing a new mix of players. Runner is now coming in for Coma, even though they look decisive. But that inconsistency leads us to really not have the best ability to gauge Runaway's strength. However, KongDoo Uncia coming off a very close win against Cloud9, a Cloud9 team that improved by leaps and bounds as Apex went on, and Uncia showing some flaws in their play, not having that very clean flanking play style that we've seen from them, and sometimes messing up their ult economy on the payload maps.
Yeah, and with Runaway, it just really is odd to me that they would continue to make these roster changes like this. Runner, of course, is the figurehead of the team, the big streamer here in Korea. But frankly, I mean, when they had Coma playing last week, I thought it looked like they had a better player in that support role. So now they come back in. Maybe it's because we've got double elimination for the quarterfinals. Who knows? I think it's kind of dangerous to play with fire like that a little bit, in my opinion, which is what I kind of think they're doing. But, you know, it's like you said, is this team really a team that can beat high-caliber teams like KongDoo Uncia, or was Fnatic just a weaker opponent and it made them look better than they were?
I think that's definitely a true statement, especially with how Fnatic played on that day. But we have to credit Cox a lot because he's been the one making that change to Ana, taking that role over from Shine. And he was winning 1v1s on Ana against the DPS of Fnatic in his first professional match on that hero. Well, now, we could argue whether that says something about Fnatic's DPS players, but Cox has been a great player this season, certainly a breakout, perhaps up-and-coming star. So will he make this transition permanently into the Ana? Will we see them return to some of the triple DPS compositions that saw them have some success at the start of this season?
Well, I think moving Cox to the Ana actually worked out really, really well for Runaway, and that he does have all this mechanical ability that he can bring to a hero like Ana, that if you talk to some of the pro players, they'll say, you know, well, she's kind of like a DPS and supports clothing, right? I mean, she does an enormous amount of damage if you're able to land those shots in between keeping everybody healed. We see Jaehong on Lunatic High do exactly that type of thing. So, yeah, it makes sense. And, you know, they can always flex him onto something else if the unique situation arises. So I think Runaway has the building blocks there for a very good team potentially. You know, are they that team this season? I think we're going to learn a lot about that in the quarterfinals, but it's hard to say right now.
Absolutely. And KongDoo Uncia, we pretty much know they're that team. They are certainly a contender for the title, even though they did struggle against Cloud9. I think that they performed below their average level we've seen on other teams, and Cloud9 was improving. But when we look at KongDoo Uncia, my concern is Butcher's been great, but at the same time, he had a lot of ill-advised flanks in the match versus Cloud9 that were punished really hard. When KongDoo Uncia has been at their best, it's been Bird Ring flanking with the Soldier.
Absolutely.
So that's where they pick up a lot of the big kills. I think you really have to leave that outplay potential to Bird Ring as opposed to giving it to Butcher. Just leave Butcher in the front line. Go ahead, give him data boost, allow him to charge that Graviton super fast, but make sure that it's Bird Ring saying when to pull the trigger on their flank attacks.
Well, here's kind of the thing for Lunatic High, or rather for Runaway to really look at then, is you have a team like KongDoo Uncia that you know they do these flanks with Bird Ring pretty consistently. Almost every map we see some sort of flank being executed. So if you know that going into it, you can be much more aware of it. And I wonder if maybe Uncia has done this enough times now that teams will start to look for it and start to be ready for it. Because if you can pick Bird Ring before he makes that flank, suddenly you've got a huge advantage in your push. So I'm kind of waiting for this to start to burn KongDoo Uncia. I feel like it's about time.
And to be fair, they are the team in this league that likes the long flanks the most.
Oh, yeah.
They take a lot of time very methodically setting it up. So if you get a pick, you waste so much of their time.
Definitely.
It's difficult to do, but if you can make it work, if you can read their mind, if you can get the necessary intel, then you are able to make those plays.
Yeah. I mean, I think that kind of sums it all up, right? So let's learn a little bit more about these teams in just a second. I promise it's coming. Here we go.
KongDoo Uncia. Tank.
뭐 하겠습니까? 급하게 조합을 좀 바꿨는데 이미 군사들이 이민아 이거 봐야 돼요. 혼자 쪽에서
Butcher.
자, 도전. 앞뒤. 자, 다 시선을 주관하면서
그래 한 번이라도 더 싸우죠.
Anchor. DPS.
시야가 나와서만 보면 하거든요. 오, 둘. 이게 버블링. 쭉쭉쭉쭉 왼쪽. 수비. 이거
마트가
와요.
퍼스트 왔어. 얼마나
엄청나죠.
셋까지. 이거는 퍼스트 폭탄 아니라 진짜 핵폭탄이라고 생각할 만큼
Bird Ring.
모두도 예 이걸 뭐가 다야 를 들지 못하게 땡겨서 먼저 끌려가 수비가 나갔어 수비 언제 오라고 명분 너 땡겨 내가 다 땡겨
Dunse. Support. Lucid. Bubbly. KongDoo Uncia.
KongDoo Uncia, the team of flanks. That's what we've seen. But one of the things we didn't mention in the pregame so far was Dance's very successful transition to Road Dogg and just how good he's been on that hero this season.
Well, that's why I think in that interview we heard Runaway talking about their hero pool overlap between Birdring and Dance might be one of their weaknesses, because we did see primarily Birdring playing the Roadhog last season while Dance was on the Soldier, and in the offseason they swapped. But Birdring, I think, has shown that he can play just about any DPS hero that they need him to play. So
I was going to say, yeah, Birdring.
I don't agree with that conclusion that was drawn.
I think you kind of try to find, ways to maybe say there's a weakness on the other side, but Birdring's hero pool is maybe not the right thing to look at for KongDoo Uncia. That's right. One thing to maybe look at is that these guys do play, very much nearly completely, about 80% or 87% or so of their games are triple tank comps.
Yeah.
So, while triple tank is very good, obviously, that you do really kind of know what you're up against in terms of compositions, and that's something that you can maybe exploit.
Sure. And for the most part, it is going to be Butcher on the Zarya, and we will have Panker, of course, on the Reinhardt. So that is something that you can exploit. They do like to play triple tank with Soldier, and
Runaway.
McCree, and Tracer. There you go.
Flex. Cox. Tank. Kaiser.
못 미는 그림이죠. 여기까지 있죠.
그냥 정리를 싹 해버리겠다. 런어웨이.
Bumper. DPS.
방벽. 자, 용감. 그렇죠. 박살. 삼킬. 없이 그냥. 내가 세계 1위다. 하나야.
지금 꺼내 면 자세.
Axal. Stitch. Support. Runner. Runaway.
And there is Runaway, of course, a team that was pretty exciting last season with how good Hawksall was. But in the end, Hawksall wasn't enough. They needed to bring in more. So this season they brought in Stitch, they got Cox, and they are looking better than ever.
Yeah, they certainly are. Made it very easily through requalification for this league and now find themselves within the top 8. So certainly a successful rebuilding.
Oh, yeah.
And they've
That's
got a lot of individual skill. Everybody knows about Hawksall, but do they have the teamwork? Do they have that coordination to take down KongDoo Uncia? In the interview, Runaway stated that Runner being there made a big difference in terms of their shot calling. It took a lot of the burden off of Cox to play that role. So I think maybe they need somebody to really pull the team together and unify their team play for a match against a team that's as coordinated as KongDoo Uncia.
Yeah. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on Cox. Because he's got to be hitting the shots.
All of the shots, right?
That's right. On the Ana, you need that freedom, right? So, let's look at the heroes that these guys have been picking lately. Most picked by player. Only picked is really emphasized, so it's like most picked by player.
It's just for the visual balance. It'd be boring if
right.
it was all one color. And KongDoo Uncia,
Feels good.
Bird Ring on the Genji. Not really a surprise there, but he's been all over the place for the most part.
Yeah.
And Runaway Stitch
Well, you can see
with
Cox.
the dive composition.
You can see Cox on the Roadhog, even though
Yeah.
it's not. That's not actually accurate now because he's moved over to the support role. But
He will most likely be playing exclusively Ana this evening unless they have a special trick cooked up. But if you're going to run single support, I don't think Runner has the flexibility in his hero pool to play anything that's not Lucio convincingly,
Yep.
which means that I think that running some defenses with either a Torbjorn or a Symmetra or a Sombra,
sure.
probably off the table for Runaway.
We're going to Oasis for our first map in this best of 5. Now, KongDoo Uncia has yet to lose a control map this season, so they're coming into this one pretty hot. Of course, Runaway will be 2-1 on that, but Runaway, interestingly enough, went 3-0 in their first match, 0-3 in their second match, and then 3-0 in their third match. So these guys have yet to actually play an escort match or escort map in the tournament. So if we get there, things might get kind of interesting.
And their games have been brief.
Yes, they have.
Small sample size, but outside shot that has something to do with their mentality in the game.
Hard to say.
They could be a momentum-based team. We'll have to check in on that as the playoffs unfold and we get a few more data points to work with. And
That's right. Well, it is time to move into our first map of our second best of 5, KongDoo Uncia versus Runaway. Let's see who gets the early lead.
I get it.
Welcome to Oasis. I wonder if that like tree thing can like lower down to the ground. Maybe that's where they like park their cars or something like that. It's one of those elevated parking things. Because right now it's just a big safety hazard.
I really wonder what happens. At least they have those lights around the edge so when it gets dark you don't
Yeah.
accidentally walk into
I mean,
a pit and kill yourself.
unfortunately, the heroes of Overwatch are not too good at avoiding those kinds of things.
Also, the drivers in Oasis just brutal. They don't stop for anybody.
Well, I mean, this is the future, right? So those are probably driverless cars.
Then they should stop, right?
No, I think it just means they have no regard for human life.
That was the first step of the Omnic crisis, when the car is attacked.
That's right, when the cars rebelled. Yeah. Keep that in mind. Oh, Bird Ring on the Pharah as KongDoo Uncia going to be advancing here with their 2-2-2, it looks like. Interesting.
Yeah, pretty standard composition. Runaway loves to play these dive compositions, but Anchor not on the Reinhardt. A little bit interesting, but especially on this point, we have seen the dominance of a lot of Pharah and Genji players, and indeed, it's exactly what we're going to see from Bird Ring and Runner. Sidestepping some of those rockets, he will get out with his life.
Yeah, well, now Bird Ring. I'm curious to see what Hoxall's going to be able to do against him here. Whoa, there goes Cox. Bird Ring helping Butcher strike early there. Meanwhile, Dance not on the Roadhog this time, coming out with the Tracer. Like we used to see him play quite a bit. Runaway trying to fight back here, but it's not going to work. Stitch goes down, and KongDoo Uncia can claim the point first.
Clutch rocket at the end there in the Tracer versus Tracer duel. Bird Ring ends it with the Pharah. Both teams traded supports, but the end duels won by KongDoo Uncia. And is Runaway going to switch? Otherwise, they have to rely on Hoxall to get in the center of this map and use the gazebo, we'll say,
Okay.
to try and shut down this Pharah, because if he allows the Pharah just to go in onto those backlines, there's so much space for Pharah to maneuver and just shoot down the Ana and the Lucio quite easily.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen Genji be able to handle the Pharah on this point using that center gazebo. So if Hoxall can't do that, I've got some serious worries about Runaway. Trying to take back the point right now. It is contested. Hoxall looking for a kill in the Dance, maybe? Just kind of bouncing around. There we go. There's the supports he's looking for. Lucid in a little bit of trouble. Lucid and Cox trying to stay alive.
Yeah, but the kill's
Sound
coming in
barrier.
early on because
Yeah.
the biotic grenade was there, so it cut off all possible healing. And even if it hadn't, though, we did see Bird Ring all over the support once again. So both teams focusing heavily on destroying each other's healing line. But it's working out much better for KongDoo because Lucid held on to his Biotic Grenade there, so you can't keep up that attack if you're Genji and you're dashing in.
Well, Haksal just seems unable to handle this Pharah, it looks like. So Stitch is going to go on to McCree.
Yeah, they got to do something. I think the switch is smart. But KongDoo Uncia, they've just used a sound barrier. That's the only thing that we've seen come out of them. So they're playing with 5 ultimates right now. Runaway going to be in the same situation. Haxal's got to make this work.
Yeah, that's right. Nanoblade does find the kill onto Lucid, or Lucid rather. Playing too much Final Fantasy 15 lately, I guess. Can't find any more though. Oh wow, the reflect kills Dance. This might be the opportunity Runaway's been looking for.
Yeah, but they waited until 95%. Now, KongDoo Uncia, I think that was a mistake from them. As the season has dragged on, their ult economy has been getting worse. And KongDoo Uncia, as we see Birdring switch over onto the Genji himself, this is the time where you just needed to go ahead and save those 5 ultimates. We saw Envy do this very well in the last match because just let him use them all. Runaway had to invest heavily with their charges in order to retake the point at 99%. So just come back and smash them with 5. Just let yourself die. Just play dodgeball on the point.
Makes sense. All right, Runaway trying to fend off KongDoo Uncia. Panker with the Primal Rage, looking for some targets. He does find Haksal. Can't reflect that, buddy.
Can't reflect this
Nope,
either.
can't reflect that either.
Can't jump over the wall.
Meanwhile, Butcher and Birdring do get a couple kills. Self-destruct. Oh, Panker gets all the way just in time. Meanwhile, Bumper back up on the Diva, goes after Panker yet again. It's a brawl on the point. KongDoo Uncia loses a couple here. They might lose a bit more. Bumper, nobody seems to be able to handle him right now. Wow, really chases down Panker quite well. Kaiser gets a kill into Birdring at the same time, who's over onto that Genji now. And Haksal just chasing the Diva away.
Have to reset. Dance died early to Kaiser's Winston. And now everything has to be reset one more time. They only have a pulse bomb at the moment.
Yep.
Panker be with that Roadhog looking to get the pick to start things off.
Interesting that they've got Panker on there. Oh, there's a stick on the Cox. And Cox is blown up. Wall runner hooked by Panker.
I hate it when that happens.
It happens to the best of us. It's interesting to see Panker on the Roadhog. Ooh, Haksal actually pulls out the Dragon Blade. Pop Butcher out of the mech. Where's Reflect? There it is. Backs away. Dance with the kill on the Stitch. Interesting to see them move Panker on the Roadhog and leave Dance on the Tracer. But it's working okay. Although Runaway nearing 99% here. This could be 99 to 99. It looks like it probably will be. They're going to send in Kaiser with the Nano Boots right now. Dance on the run, and we're into overtime. Runaway on the verge of taking the first point here on Oasis as Kaiser charging in with that Primal Rage.
Yeah, probably going to get knocked off right now. Couldn't have come at a better time.
Yep.
Gets pulled by the Roadhog, but doesn't quite die, playing well around his shield.
Okay, they didn't even need the Pulse Bomb at that point. Birdring, Dragon Blade coming back in again. He's got the sound barrier to keep him up. Can't find any kills, though, aside from one on the Cox. And there's
gotta get
overtime
back on the
ticking.
point!
Can't do it. Runaway takes point A on Oasis.
Wow. That really hurt. Resetting the ult economy really, really hurt KongDoo Uncia. They never recovered from that, and that's the kind of play that we saw towards the end of the set, and especially on the payload maps against Cloud9 that sunk them. So they need to fix that, play with more level heads if they want to take a victory here, because we just saw Runaway running it all the way back from 0 to 99 to win the point.
Yeah, not see that very often. Runaway draws first blood here in this best of 5. Now we're moving on to Gardens. See if KongDoo Uncia can tie things up. Looks like they're going for the full pharmacy this time. Birdring on the Pharah, Lucid on the Mercy. And Panker still on that Winston, so really believing in that this time. And not using the Roadhog, although I suppose they don't have a lot of heroes to park behind the Reinhardt rather this time, so Winston makes sense.
It's another one of those maps on Oasis that teams with a lot of verticality in their compositions have seen the most success, because Genji can park way up on those ledges.
A flashbang absorbed by Butcher. Stitch looks for a few kills. Ooh, dangerous moment for Lucid. Gets taken out. Stitch not missing those shots. Now Birdring fighting the duel. Oh, Stitch losing that one. Bit of revenge, but as it is, Runaway coming out a bit ahead in the kills here. They look like they're going to probably claim the point first.
Oh, nope.
Actually,
Ana.
Birdring taken out.
Yeah, picking him out of the sky, so Birdring left unchecked, but do see the Ana shots hitting their mark to take him out and force any hope of KongDoo capping first.
Yep.
Okay, so pretty standard setup here with the Genji way up top.
Yeah, either way you want to control that high ground on Gardens. Birdring coming over the top right now, going for the knockoff. Oh, he didn't quite get it. That was really close to knocking off Runner.
And those are the
And,
Krios.
Cox, yeah.
Spamming the doorway, but can't quite get the kill there. And he actually goes down.
Stitch gets the kill. They're going to drop Lucid as well. There's a reset for KongDoo. And Runaway with a team kill there.
They just can't pick up the kills that they need fast enough. Stitch playing very well against this Pharah. And McCree great on this point if you're on that high ground, because there really isn't going to be a lot of damage fall off because you will always be pretty close.
Yeah.
One of those maps where McCree is actually a more threatening Pharah counter.
Between Stitch and Cox as well, you've got two players with great aim, and I would not want to play fair into that. Despite how, even if I was Birdring. Sound barrier used by Runaway. Meanwhile, Birdring tries to go for the barrage, only gets Stitch before he gets taken out though. Lucid not lasting too much longer as Hawksall
And
finds
Lucid
one.
dies at 99% of his ultimate. No chance for the res. Lucid has been dying so fast on this Mercy every single time he goes in. And this is looking very grim for KongDoo.
I think so. Runaway already up to 80 control percent built here on Garden. 4 ultimates available for KongDoo Uncia, so they do come in with a bit of an edge there. Can they make it work though? Lucid needs to be so careful not to die. Picked off every time as Birdring comes back in. Panker gets booped off by Runner though. Not a great start for KongDoo Uncia. Dance coming from the side, has to recall immediately. They're going to go ahead and use a res to bring Bubbly back up, I believe. Meanwhile, self-destruct, trying to avoid it.
Oh, clutch
Kaiser
kill.
gets Bubbly though, yeah.
Right at 97% of the sound barrier. They res Lucio so we could actually get that ultimate. It doesn't end up working out, and now they are going to pay a pretty dear price.
I think they will. Sound barrier does get used by Runaway to keep them up. Meanwhile, Hawksall cuts down Birdring on that Pharah, and I gotta say, Runaway looking dominant here on point 2 on Oasis as they finish this fight off. There goes Butcher, just a cleanup remaining, and Runaway should be able to win this one. Sound barrier used actually, just trying to keep Dance up long enough for the respawns to come in. He's survived here a long time. Wow, Dance really pulling out the hero moves to get his team back in time, but it's not enough. Runaway will take Oasis 2-0.
Convincingly too, 0% on map number 2. KongDoo Uncia may be a little bit stubborn, thought they could outplay the Genji, but instead Hawksall plays on the low ground for the most part, picks up the support kills, and don't really care about Birdring, who would meet his doom if he tried to float down to try and cap the point.
Yeah.
So, not the best showing, but again, from KongDoo Uncia, maybe they can bring it back. But that is KongDoo Uncia's, first loss on control of the tournament. So that has been their bread and butter.
Well, they've done pretty well on every map type almost so far. But yeah, they have not lost control in the 3 best-of-5s they've played so far this season. That is their first loss on that map type. Good start for Runaway, though.
Absolutely. So, Runaway, man, I can't believe they made these roster changes and are now taking maps off of KongDoo Uncia. That is impressive to take that risk this late in a season when pretty much everything is on the line. And their playoff slot was on the line when they played against Fnatic. And
yeah, really. I mean, it's not the situation where they thought it was going to be an easy win, so they put Coma in for fun. I mean, that was a must-win for them. So map 2, we're going to go to King's Row. That's going to be the choice for KongDoo Uncia. And talk about a map you can flank people on. This is Birdring's bread and butter.
I mean, some of the most spectacular plays we've seen from KongDoo Uncia have come on King's Row. Most notably, when we saw them at an ult disadvantage, Birdring on defense flanked all the way up while the payload was pushing through streets and got the upper window, had attack buys of the rest of his team, stopped the payload before it could go around that corner, and he just massacred the opposition. So
he Hawksalled them.
He did. He Hawksalled them real good.
Yep. Well, Runaway with a great start, and it would certainly be a bit of an upset if they did win, and I think it would certainly upset Envious as well if they would have to play KongDoo Uncia.
I don't know, in this state, they look pretty beatable, Doa.
We'll see what happens here as we go on to map number 2, King's Row. See if Uncia can tie it up. All right, welcome to King's Row. Medium Ben and all. It's kind of like in China, they have all those replicas of famous buildings. I was reading today they have like
Or Las Vegas.
10 White Houses or something like that in China.
That's so weird.
I know. And I'm not just talking about houses that are painted white, because everywhere's got a lot of white houses. I mean like the same like White House that we have in the U.S. where the president lives, or in this case, lives once in a while.
Did you know in China they're actually making a replica of the Titanic that you can visit? Isn't that weird?
That doesn't sound like a great idea.
Well, it's on land.
Oh,
so
okay. All
don't
right.
worry
That sounds
about
like a much better
it.
idea.
Or it's like
then.
in
All right.
a river or a lake. I think it's very unlikely to fail, but you never know.
That's what they said about the last one, you know?
They did.
It's very unlikely to fail.
There would be a pretty interesting story there if it were to somehow sink again.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is not irony, guys, because you now expect the Titanic to sink. So.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be ironic if it was a very safe boat. That's irony. Back to the pregame ritual. Runaway saying you are not prepared. So far, KongDoo and Uncia is certainly looking like that as they will triple tank their way out on offense here. Birdering on that McCree.
Yeah, what the McCree for Hawksall. Runaway typically doesn't run. Well, they have been running the Winston here, so, but not going to be the case on this first point. Fire Shield and Fire Strike is going to be coming through.
Yeah, good biotic grenade, keeping Uncia at bay for the moment. Birdering trying to handle the high ground, but Stitch is.
Oh, that's a nice
hard
hook
to
by Dance.
dislodge.
I don't know what Runner was doing there.
He was being a stream superstar, man. He got hooked. Oh, Dance finding another one. Maybe it's just
Okay.
Dance. Maybe it's just birdering. Getting the kills. Maybe KongDoo Uncia is angry about that last match, and they're just going to take point A really fast.
Okay.
Oh, hey, there you go. Goodbye, Stitch.
Try to get what damage he could down.
Cox on his own. And, all right. Oh, wow. You nearly hooked Cox there.
Yep. Nice zoning, though.
Yep. All right, so they will take point A extremely fast. Moving on to Street's phase now. Cox does have the nano boost available. Actually, both Annas do now.
I mean, when you die to a Roadhog hook, and the Roadhog hasn't even flanked you, and your Reinhardt shield is still up, there's something really wrong with your positioning.
Seriously.
If you're a Lucio player, so not exactly sure how that happened, but the early pick means a fast point A cap here for KongDoo. Runaway will have time to reset in the choke point, which is great for defenses.
Hawksaw has swapped over to the Roadhog himself now, looking for the picks. Electric Cowboy coming out. Oh, gets hit with the Earth Shatter, though. Has a nano boost. He's a bit more durable, but not durable enough as Bumper comes in and grabs two. And wow, what a response from Runaway. They cleaned up that fight in a hurry.
Very nice shatter from Kaiser. Just completely shutting down that play, negating all of the ultimates, basically, from KongDoo Uncia. And now we're going to be heading into another push. Where is Runaway going to defend?
It was a bit of a bold move for Birdering to speed walk his way out from behind his Reinhardt shield there.
It was bold.
Yeah,
Maybe over bold, one might say.
I would say it's possible. Bumper lurking on the high ground. He's got the Graviton Surge. This is the flanks that KongDoo Uncia always threatens, but this time it's Runaway. Not going to use it. He's going to get pinned instead. Goes ahead and drops the, actually Graviton Surge gets dropped by KongDoo Uncia. Bumper dies before he can use it.
Well, they got red very hard there. The response nearly instant.
Hard to flank the
KongDoo
flankers.
Uncia, yeah, Bumper didn't even have a chance to get his ultimate off there. Hit into the charge so quickly, and he will preserve it. Only dead. He was pretty much dead to rights, caught in the surge of KongDoo.
Surge!
Your favorite soft drink from the 90s.
It was everyone's favorite soft drink in the 90s. Of course. Whole Hog just to try to get KongDoo Uncia at that point. Wow, he actually went for the Graviton Surge to pull them off of the payload, and it stops it. Gives Runaway a chance to get back there. Can they win the fight now? They might be able to with an Earth Shatter like that. Oh yeah, that works. Stitch pulls out the tack visor as well.
Wow, that was
And
beautiful by Runaway.
No kidding, man.
Nope. No Diva there to stop or eat that Graviton Surge, launches it way back off the cart, pulls everybody off the payload, and then they have the other ultimates to follow up. They're able to get the Earth Shatter down, and they charge forward. Now, is it going to save them this map? You see, Kaiser's like, yeah, that was a great shatter. It was a great shatter.
Feels good, man. Meanwhile, KongDoo Uncia take a long way around here.
Typical KongDoo Uncia approach. Try and be surprising, but they don't actually go all the way through the brewery. Oh, yeah, they are. So they're going to try and take a long, long flank.
Yeah, coming from the right side. Still a very direct approach to the payload. And Runaway, this is a spot that you can defend on for a while, actually, despite it being so close to the end. Nano boost on the Panker in the meanwhile. Birdring pops that Deadeye, can't find any kills. Panker sitting on top of the payload right now. Birdring, Electric Cowboy runs out. He's going to get hit with another charge, I guess. Yeah, Kaiser actually taking him down with that. Runaway winning another team fight.
And Kaiser charged his shatter so fast because he got so many swings in both their previous push or their hold, and then this one as well after he gets the damage boost.
I was going to say, I thought I must have misseen that because he had it again so quickly, but no, that was his Earth Shatter.
They bought a lot of time. Lost some on the point, but their defense in streets has been strong.
2 minutes remaining. So Uncia still with a good amount of time to push this, but they don't have any ults, and they're not going to have them before this push probably, unless Butcher can build his pretty quick.
Ults except, yeah, maybe Butcher and Huxall.
Looks like Panker just going to take a nap. Meanwhile, Huxall has a whole hog now. Here we go. Butcher just set something up with the Graviton Surge. They're actually going to pull in Huxall. Both Roadhogs do go down, though.
He's zoned out by the Soldier. Doesn't have a barrier for himself to stay alive, so Stitch making the most of that opportunity. Doesn't have to use his tac visor, and now this is looking really good for Runaway. KongDoo Uncia has been stymied right before the Foundry.
Down to about a minute remaining, and again, I think we may see a bit of an upset in the making if
this
KongDoo
didn't turn
Uncia
out well
can't
for
make it
Butcher
happen.
last time.
He's going to try it. Coming in from the side, they got the payload moving again. Kaiser right there, though. Earthshatter gets blocked by Kaiser. Runaway pops the sound barrier to stay up. There's a Graviton Surge from KongDoo Uncia now trying to time it with the barrier ending, but there's no follow-up.
Another shatter.
Insane.
Another big shatter from Kaiser, and that's going to be a win. They knew the Graviton was coming. When they tried to all in response to the Graviton, Kaiser again just hits the DPS with the crowd control, and that's it. KongDoo Uncia, they've got one push, but they used everything on that push.
Well,
They've got a shatter and a Roadhog ult. We'll see if that's going to be enough.
They can use it to move the Reinhardt out of the way. Maybe they can get a good Earthshatter. It's asking a lot, though, right now for KongDoo Uncia as they get down to about 15 seconds remaining in this offensive round before overtime. The payload is moving. Runaway has to be safe. No ultimates for them.
Bubbly has sound barrier. This should be okay, actually.
Let's see. Yeah, KongDoo Uncia with a good chance to finish this one. Earthshatter comes down. They do well with it. Bumper and Huxall go down immediately. Birdring has that ultimate available if he wants to use it, but Runaway finally looks a bit routed. And so KongDoo Uncia should be able to complete point B here. That's it.
Despite the loss of that point, KongDoo Uncia is still on the ropes. They were bleeding time in the streets phase after having 5 minutes to work with.
Well, just 120 left for this extremely difficult point C, and now switch over to the Widowmaker. Let's switch to the Widowmaker. Doing that a lot lately.
To Stitch.
Let's switch. Stitch. Let's Stitch.
No.
Well, what if you're really wounded and you need to close the wounds?
Gotta stitch it up, I guess.
There you go. See, this is a good reason. Runaway trying to hold it.
Yeah, KongDoo just slow pushing.
Yeah.
As best as they are able.
Oh boy, Graviton Surge. Big charge coming in, and that is a huge team fight win for Runaway. Man, it wrecked him.
They used the nano boost onto Panker. Butcher will
to the center of the earth with you.
Fall to his doom. Giving a little goodbye wave there.
Yeah. Did we win? I think they did.
I think he definitely did. Stitch.
30 seconds left. KongDoo has a lot to contest. They got a couple ultimates, but Runaway is stacked on the ultimate side of things. Stitch cannot find the picks yet, though.
Well, somebody's got to go back there and try and take him out. It's got to be Birdring. It's a good switch onto the Widow. This is where we saw Taimu playing it on this map on defense.
All right. Graviton comes in with the nano boost. Oh, counter Earthshatter, though. Doesn't hit a whole lot of people. The payload moving. Huxall has to back up low. He goes down. KongDoo Uncia making a good push out of this, actually, despite the ultimates from Runaway. Meanwhile, Birdring gets into the back lines. They got to finish off Bumper. Got the health back, but it looks like they should be able to do it. That payload moving farther and farther. KongDoo Uncia, they may be able to do this in overtime. Runner not going to survive long enough to stop this one, but Huxall going to last a little while as the payload comes in. There's a good Earthshatter, and as soon as they finish off Stitch, they can push the payload the rest of the way, but they can't quite do it. Huxall goes down. There we go. KongDoo Uncia, against the odds, finishes it in OT.
Yeah, but they finish it in OT, which means we see any time left over on the attack by Runaway, they will have another shot for an attacking round with however much time is left in the time bank. So
Right.
it was a good hold from Runaway, though, especially considering how fast the match started with the pick onto Runner. They stabilized, had some great Earth Shatters and Graviton Surges to stall out all the way into OT, but they do see that third point get captured.
Yeah, very strong start for Runaway. And I'm really curious to see what they're going to pull out on their offensive round. Looks pretty normal for the moment. They've got Hawks on the Genji, of course. Wouldn't be surprised to see Stitch stick with the Widowmaker. Didn't get a bunch of fancy picks in the last defensive stage, but he did certainly do enough damage to make a difference, which is something that people underestimate a little bit on Widowmaker, is that even if you're not hitting the sick headshots, you're still doing a lot of damage if you can actually find targets.
And it's all about forcing the enemy team to reposition.
Yeah,
the
that too.
King's Row point A is so open, and if KongDoo Uncia decides to defend with a McCree, like the damage fallout is going to be pretty severe. So you sort of get backed into upper halls in the corner behind the hotel, and you have to walk onto the point to contest it, and that's where a robust tank line from Runaway can bully you effectively off the objective.
Right. KongDoo Uncia running Dance on the Reaper defensively. Bit interesting to see.
Yeah, I think maybe they're expecting the Haksal Roadhog again.
I think you're probably right.
Runaway's going to be really happy if they play this right, because KongDoo Uncia, they don't have a lot of damage to spam down a shield. So we'll see if they can actually push onto this point right now.
Stitch not finding any of the picks initially. He looks for one more. Ooh, close. Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Dance, though. I think he was waiting for that, man. Yeah. Hiding in the hotel, comes right up behind him. And that's going to really slow down Runaway early on.
Debated to the max, man.
Absolutely. Stitch immediately swaps to that McCree. Yeah, you can't come back from a humiliation like that. Yeah, you got to switch. You got to switch.
So
It hurts too deep.
instead, they take a more traditional route, wrapping around from the drop down on the theater into high ground position. And this is where poke wars begin.
Yep.
But certainly easier for Runaway than KongDoo Uncia because they are running that Reaper. Reaper can't really do a lot of damage without getting dangerously close.
Hawks on the high ground, of course.
Long push towards upper halls.
Yeah, wow, they're really taking their time to set this one up.
As expected. It's the KongDoo Uncia we know and love, Doa.
Absolutely. Well, it's the
Runaway
Runaway we know
yes.
and love now. But
They're actually doing the long
Yeah.
flanks. Impressive. So my mistake.
well, you were right about the strategy, just about, not about the team. It's okay. Oxlaw, finds a backline.
Oh.
That's a problem. Takes out Bubbly early on. Oh, can't survive long enough, though. Birdering makes him pay for it.
Still happy
Meanwhile,
about that trade.
the fight's begun. Electric Cowboy incoming. Nano boost onto Birdring. Goes for the opposing McCree. Whoa, he just manages to drop Runner randomly before he goes down. Meanwhile, Runaway, not enough people on the point to take this one. Dance is lurking in the hotel yet again. Hello.
Well, I'm not going to like a reflecting energy, though.
Not a lot.
Now that hold, there's an opportunity here for Runaway to push very aggressively. That's why Butcher's playing for the sneak here.
Yep, waiting for Runaway to try to go past, and here we go. Are they going to spot him? Goes behind, drops a Graviton Surge. Where's the follow-up? Looking for it. Charge comes in. They tried to use the Deadeye there, tried to turn the Reinhardt shield. Didn't work, but they still got the kills anyway.
Oh, Zarya doing an immense amount of damage after the Reinhardt charges his way
Yeah.
through. The Runaway, they have a minute 30 left. Finally, they have a substantial ult advantage. They shouldn't be baited out by the Death Blossom from Dance. That's easy to shut down.
Bumper
And-
needs to land a sick Graviton Surge here. They really need to get a big combo to take this point.
I mean, they have 5 ults, so I believe in them,
They
Noah.
All right, good to know. Graviton Surge pulls him in. Where's that big combo? Dance. Oh, but here comes a Death Blossom from Dance. And that is going to make a big difference. Wraithform stays alive, gets the souls, consumes enough souls to live. Runaway, though, not so lucky, and they used everything except for the sound barrier there.
And that's just something that shouldn't happen, though. You have to know Dance has the Death Blossom up. Luzit didn't even ult him. All he had was a Zarya shield and Earth Shatter to work with. So
I can't
sloppy for sure by Runaway. Also, Butcher's Graviton was truly subpar. So, Bumper, excuse me.
I can't believe Dance's Reaper is actually working here.
Well,
We have not seen
Bumper,
the
Bumper
defensive
switches to Diva immediately after that.
Yeah.
So he can actually stop this Reaper's damage. They want to attack the front line.
Dance has been like causing the humiliation swaps all around here. It's you die to the Reaper like that, it's like, okay, I need a different hero. Deadeye, Murdering has a nano boost as well. And finds a kill on the Cox. And with Cox out of the way, this might be a little bit easier now for KongDoo Uncia to get another clutch defense. Dance, they just can't kill this guy.
Absolutely
So
can't kill him,
elusive.
but he's getting the 1v1s that he wants, or he's finding them all grouped up at poor moments.
Yeah.
And that means might be a full hold here as the clock ticks down.
I think it probably will be KongDoo Uncia. One last defensive fight to win here as Runaway back in the mix. Or back in the mix, rather. Butcher, Graviton Surge, and that's going to be about that. Kaiser not going to last long enough to take the point solo, and KongDoo Uncia with the full hold, they will win King's Row.
Ooh.
Did not expect that.
Certainly did not expect that after a cleaner play from Runaway, but it seemed like Uncia had the positional advantage every time. But that is where, when we look at KongDoo Uncia, when we look at their record on control, when we look at their record on hybrid, they have a lot of victories, big victories on these types of maps. And yeah, they lost control this time around, but when they have a chance to set up, they are very good at reacting,
Yeah.
drawing you into traps, and punishing your composition, which is what we saw there.
Well, we are all tied up in this best of 5 now. KongDoo Uncia striking back on their map choice, King's Row. And Runaway looking a bit outclassed on that one. They held pretty decently on the defensive side, brought it to overtime, but on offense just could not seem to get anything going.
No, nothing at all, really.
Yeah.
And but they will have a chance here on Assault.
We're seeing Dance play a lot more heroes than we've seen him play so far this season. He's going back to some earlier picks, and it's working out well. We'll see who breaks the tie when we come back from our short break. KongDoo Uncia versus Runaway. All tied up, one map apiece. Do not go anywhere, guys. We will be back in just a few minutes on Overwatch Apex Season 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Overwatch Apex Season 2, where we are all tied up. KongDoo Uncia versus Runaway. Runaway looking really solid in the control map we had on Oasis early on, but on King's Row, it was pretty much all KongDoo Uncia, especially on the defense.
Yeah, I think they had an impressive hold in the Streets phase. We saw Kaiser get off a lot of those Earth Shatters, but that said, they couldn't actually hold it in overtime. And finally, Panker adjusted. We're not used to seeing enemy Reinhardts land so many Shatters against a Reinhardt of Panker's caliber. He needs to adjust his playstyle, be a little bit better at respecting Kaiser, and make sure he can have that shield up for the times that it really matters.
It certainly seems that way. Well, we're going to our assault map next, and we'll see what Runaway decides to choose for this one. They can pick between Volskaya and Hanamura, and it will be Volskaya Industries. All right.
Well, Runaway sitting at a 2-1 record on Assault, same as KongDoo Uncia. Both these teams look decent, but not particularly impressive.
Big map for both of these teams, as whoever wins it will put them one win away from going on to the winners match here in this group and playing against Lutek High.
I'm excited, though. I'm excited for the rest of this series. We've seen flashes of brilliance from both of these teams. Runaway performing on a solid level, but if there's one thing that's been holding them back, it has been Runner. Getting picked at the start of fights, need to be a little bit more careful with his positioning, and maybe Runaway can take this best of 5.
Sure enough, hard to call the shots when you're dead. Runaway versus KongDoo Uncia. Let's see who takes Volskaya. Welcome to Volskaya Industries. Whoever parked their car there should really move it because it's about to be destroyed by rockets and stuff.
The cars are invincible, though, Doa. That's
so.
why, as we discussed earlier, the first phase of the Omnic Crisis was the cars being taken over. There's no beating the cars. They fly and you can't destroy them.
And see, that's why there's an image of Orisa destroying a car in the new reveal story trailer, because finally an Omnic has been created that's strong enough to handle cars, except for the cars on Oasis, who nobody can handle.
I think this is just the premonition of how Uber destroys the world.
There you go.
At Google, once they perfect their automated vehicles.
It started with self-driving cars, and it ended with self-aware cars. 2017, when things become self-aware. Oh my gosh! Oh, the humanity! That was Winston's child. No, it wasn't actually. That's very dark, I guess, wasn't it?
Zarya hates Omnics, not space whales.
Well, who knows? Maybe that was a Teddy Ruxpin. You know, a semi-robotic bear. It talks. That qualifies it to die at the hands of Zarya, doesn't it?
I guess so, though. I guess so. Well, Runaway going to be on attack first. Dive composition incoming. KongDoo, they're sitting on pretty standard stuff. Triple tank and the Tracer. Everybody up on the right side. High ground for the Diva. Scouting on the bunker in the middle.
Indeed. Classic dive.
Ring hunting. Well, he got around the back really fast. This is great for him.
Yeah, he did. Well, we'll see if he can make it work, though. Going after Runner right now. Gets booped away. Runner gets to the health pack, which is a problem. Absolutely, as he's got him so low. Finally finishes him off. Cox does go down. Dance gets that kill. Meanwhile, Butcher fighting the tanks up on top, and it looks like it's going to be a hold for KongDoo Uncia.
Kind of weird that they would choose to fight in that side of the map when they know exactly that all the tanks are on that high ground and can simply walk down the stairs and AoE. Not sure about that particular offense from Runaway, but they have to get some sort of flank going because they can't just sit back and poke very effectively. Relatively low damage for that, and they have to force them down onto the point, but without a lot of tanks, that can be a trick.
Interesting to see Dance on the Diva again. You know, another pick that we haven't seen a ton from him this season. Meanwhile, Runaway working on taking that point right now. Birdring, oh, he's harassing the backline so much. Going after Cox right now. Cox all extremely low, like 1 health left. He finishes him off finally. Meanwhile, Runner a bit on his own. And Birdring was able to finish off Cox
They have no answer to Birdring right now. Stitch is losing a lot of these Tracer battles. And they are struggling in order to get anything going on this offense. Instead, they've been giving KongDoo a huge amount of ult charge, and KongDoo Uncia going to hit 6 ults pretty quickly here. Runaway, they have to change their tactic. They've got to force some of these ults now, be maybe a little bit recklessly aggressive to make them panic.
That's coming around the right side, kind of on his own. A little bit dangerous move. Misses that sleep dart there. Going after Haksal, gives him the nano boost. Haksal pulls out the Dragon Blade, but can he get anything done with it? Gets the kill onto Bubbly, but meanwhile, Panker has a nano boost of his own. Birdring hunting down Runner, who has no health left. Now he has literally no health left, and Uncia gonna hold yet again.
Panker and Dan so confident, so they see the nano boosted Dragon Blade, but they don't even bother to pop their own ultimates in that scenario. Panker holds onto the Earth Shatter. He was nano boosted himself, and we did see Birdring well away from the threat of the Genji.
Oh, Butcher did go down to Kaiser though, so Runaway already storming back onto the point right now. There's the self-destruct. Keeps Runaway at bay for the moment, but Panker will be taken out. Runaway finally finding some progress here on point A. Primal Rage used. Stitch has the Pulse Bomb though. Going after Diva in the back, and it looks like Runaway will finally claim point A here.
1 minute left on that clock. KongDoo Uncia messed that up. The initial pick onto Butcher hurt them tremendously, and they weren't able to recover. Panker did not hit a good Earth Shatter to try and buy time or get a pick off on his own, and 6v5 too much to handle. Now KongDoo Uncia committed a lot of ultimates to that, and they've got basically no charge except for Birdring, which is inconsequential. So Runaway here could be running away with this game. They have nearly the Nano Blade up again. A little patience is going to go a long way.
Well, they've certainly got the momentum. Stitch
find a support. That's going to be really crucial.
Yeah, that's right. A little bit of control percent built up. Stitch going after Cox. Cox gets hit, but the Pulse Bomb goes down. Crucial pick. Just like you said, KongDoo Uncia short-handed already. Now the Dragon Blade comes out. Haksal looking for targets. Takes down Dance almost immediately. Runner not going to survive too long after. They drop the sound barrier just to keep everybody alive, to make sure they have as many people as they can to handle the respawns. And Haksal with the duel against Butcher, gonna win that one as well. Birdring comes back, but doesn't last very long. Now the emergency May comes out for Lucid. Self-destruct though, and Runaway gets the first tick on the control point as everybody comes back in now. Here's the defense. Stitch firing away. He's got the Pulse Bomb yet again. Dance popped out of the Diva suit, does not last very long. Butcher takes a lot of damage from that Pulse Bomb, doesn't get the Primal Rage up in time, and Runaway still holding on to this point right now.
They wall there, but there's no May.
Yep, that's
charge.
Right. Wow, he charged into Cox.
Now Panker picks up one. Will that be enough? And it will be.
Not enough. Well, it will be enough in the finish anyway. Runaway. 2 quick points on Volskaya.
I mean, this is KongDoo Uncia. They have fallen off the wagon when it comes to having that beautiful ult economy, and man, did they pay for it there. They committed so hard at the end of point A after Butcher had already died, and come back basically 1 ult to 4.
Yeah.
And really difficult to hold that scenario, but the credit to Stitch, he got the Pulse Bomb, and that opened everything up. It gave time for the rest of his team to get the Nano Boost up, to get the Dragon Blade up, absolutely everything. And remember, this is on 1.7, so we don't even have the anti-stall mechanics now, and they still finished it quite quickly.
True enough. It was such a measured attack on point B from Runaway as well. They came in, they got that pick, then they were very patient about it. They didn't even use the sound barrier until the first fight was over. They popped it to kind of help handle some of the respawns that were coming in. So, not only that, they didn't go overboard with their attack on the point B. It was patient, and it was really effective. And here we are with 3:31 left in the time bank for Runaway, which is a massive amount of time for Volskaya.
Huge. And KongDoo Uncia flashing the Widowmaker for Dance right now. Panker the Tracer. That's probably what's going to happen. But you never know. Maybe they will go for a triple DPS composition and try and just get the quick pick on the high ground and snowball.
And they play mostly triple tank, but every once in a while.
This would be really unusual for KongDoo, but the composition is standard.
Yeah.
3 dive, 1 Widowmaker to take advantage of the chaos that results everybody having to run around to deal with Genji and a Tracer. But we're not going to see a Doa. We got too excited, but we are also not going to see a Reinhardt.
Yeah. So we'll see 2-2-2 from Uncia.
Dance going to stay on the Soldier instead of the Widowmaker.
Yep.
All right, so it is going to be triple DPS. Interesting. KongDoo Uncia, this is a composition we would have expected to see from Runaway.
Yeah. See what Panker can do on this Tracer now. Sneaking around the back, gonna harass the high ground a little bit. Just kind of get the attention of Runaway.
They don't have a Zarya, though, which makes this a little bit awkward if you want to fully commit.
Yeah, the dive is harder to execute without that extra protection from the projected barrier.
Okay, so simply spamming right there, but you see that free popping around.
Yeah, you gotta watch out though. If you got Hoxall and Stitch on you, it's gonna be a problem. Dance throws on the Biotic Field. They'll be running in. He's gotta watch out for Butcher there. Eyes are coming in now.
Probably does get the kill on the Cox, so it's a great start for KongDoo. I'm not sure where he was when that happened, but Birdring now really big fire strike. Trying to get that ult up by charging through as many people as he could.
Well, despite Panker harassing a bit, it looks like the push is more or less over. Although Butcher does get the kill on the Stitch. They do push him back. There's a Primal Rage. Yeah, Pulse Bomb missed. Panker does go down eventually. And so KongDoo should reset here, yeah.
Very close for Runaway on that push, but Hoxall still winning the Nano Blade battle by about 20%. Can he get that fast enough? And this poking style we're seeing from KongDoo, it's just not really working too effectively.
Yeah.
They're trying to these multiple flanks, trying to be very complicated, but instead it seems like for the most part, Runaway's able to play behind the Reinhardt shield, but maybe not this time.
Oh, just kind of struggling to execute on it. Yeah, meanwhile, Dance gets the nano boost. Trying to go for Hoxall, who's got the nano boost himself. No kills though. Oh, we got hit with the flashbang, I believe there. No, that was an Earth Shatter. Meanwhile, Hoxall trying to finish off some of these kills. Lucid on the run. And the last man standing for his team at this point. He's going to be able to get out.
That's a massive win.
Oh, no, he's not. Stitch with a headshot onto Lucid at the end.
That's a massive win right there for Runaway.
Yeah.
KongDoo, again, maybe they are trying to play overly aggressive with their ultimates. Their lack of patience is really hurting them. They're not dry pushing and trying to bleed out ultimates from Runaway basically at all.
So here we go now. Back to triple tank for KongDoo Uncia on the offense. Only Birdring on the Genji for the DPS heroes.
Yeah, who's going to deal with the McCree, though? That's the question.
Great question.
Runaway should have a lot of freedom to fire out with the McCree.
Force Kaiser away, did not land the hook. The shield was still up. Dance really harassing Kaiser, though. Has to be careful as they come back around on the low ground. They did lose Panker, though. So already short-handed. I think they're kind of trying to wait it out for Panker to come back, but they are rapidly running out of time, down to about a minute left.
KongDoo's pushes have been lackluster. They haven't committed to 1 point, and they force Runaway to fall down, but they can't take advantage of it. They can't take the high ground. They can't deal the damage from above.
I mean, I think for the first time we're seeing a real lack of confidence from what KongDoo Uncia is doing. Not seen this yet before. Oh, wow, the ult denied the hook. Takes runner out before the sound barrier goes down, and this may be an opportunity for KongDoo Uncia if they pull the trigger.
Looks like still with an ult, though.
That sound barrier used by KongDoo Uncia. Hoxall pulls out the nano blade. And we'll see if he can get any kills here. Yeah, chasing away Bubbly. There's a kill into him. Lucid will be next to fall. Finally, a Runaway.
Is he going to do this?
The kills they were looking for. Maybe. I think he's done enough. Yeah, well, he got the kills on the support. Oh, Birdring sleep dart as he pulls out the Dragon Blade.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Dance does get the kill on the Kaiser as well. See ya.
That was a great play from a new Ana player in Cox, and Runaway stabilizes off the back of some amazing Genji play from Hoxall.
Are we going to see the second full hold in a row for Runaway here? Or for KongDoo Uncia, rather. Never mind.
Well,
maybe a full hold for Runaway. KongDoo Uncia on the point, though. They've got a chance here.
Butcher with the Graviton.
And not finding a chance to use it, just punches Cox.
He really wants to save it for this next point. He knows he doesn't have a lot of time to make something out of point B. Does have to blow it, though.
Surge. Yeah, Runaway getting hooked now. But point A taken. Somehow, in the middle of all that, KongDoo Uncia grabs it. 4 minutes left on the clock now as they need to rush to point B because a lot of Runaway was back on point A. The spawns are very split now.
If you're KongDoo Uncia, you're really upset with how that last push went. If you wanted to hold on to that Graviton so badly, and Runaway should have a handful of ultimates off of this push.
Well, they're about to have the Dragon Blade.
They already have the Nano Boost, so...
All right. Birdring actually getting harassed by Bubbly there. Meanwhile, KongDoo Uncia losing a couple people here as
Oh.
Runaway with the defense. Looks like it should
Oh,
be
Diva
successful.
Matrix actually saving Runner right there twice.
Wow, are you kidding me? Runner actually comes
That was
back.
sick Diva play. He cut off the path of the bullets,
Wow.
and Runner manages to survive with just a sliver of health remaining.
Runaway really putting together some amazing moments here in this series.
And this is why I wondered why Bumper was taken off the roster at the beginning of the season. He was pretty good
Yeah.
in the qualifier.
He's back and he's working out well. Stitch went for kind of a wild pulse bomb there. Didn't pay off. So they won't have that for the next defense here.
Hoxall switches up to May, too.
Yeah.
Very conservative.
in earnest. Dance goes down. Bumper with the kill there, and defense looks like it's pretty solid for Runaway so far.
I guess that makes Runaway the villain of this spaghetti western, though.
Why is that?
Interrupting the duel.
It's true, yeah. I thought you just meant because they won.
Cheating.
It is cheating. I mean, you're trying to have a good, honorable draw, you know, but then all of a sudden, this huge Russian lady jumps in with a plasma cannon. You're like, no! I didn't expect that. Not since the Marty McFly oven lid under the clothes has there been such egregious cheating in a cowboy duel. Getting under the poncho.
Going to avoid the high ground for the most part as they scoop payload around the corner, and we're okay. Electric Cowboy for Stitch, and
he's gonna roll right to the afterlife as Stitch gets the Deadeye kill.
Birdring tried so hard to get in range of that flashbang.
Had to roll in flashbang, man. That was a bold move. I appreciate the effort there.
Style points on that would have been insane.
Definitely style points if it would have worked. Yeah. Meanwhile, oh dear, Lucid takes another ride to the afterlife. Revenge of the Cowboy. This really is becoming quite the Western duel here, 166.
Location appropriate, too.
I guess so, yeah. The ultimate Cowboy duel in Overwatch.
Well, the ultimate Cowboy duel is being...
dear.
Okay, well, didn't think that hook was going to land. It's hit by the biotic grenade, but they can't finish him off, and they're not willing to drop down in order to get the kill. So Dance will heal up.
Runaway with a decent ult situation right now. Ooh, they kill Butcher too, which is a great start. Uncia gonna have to back away now, and they've only got a minute 20 left, so things are gonna get a little bit desperate here for KongDoo Uncia soon.
Yeah, and especially with the ult situation that you mentioned, Doa.
Yeah.
Stitch is tired of playing Cowboy Duel and now wants to play aimbot, which is also another way to cheat in the duel.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. They really are the cheaters, aren't they? Cox is almost up to his ultimate. He really has that nano boost. Let's take a breather as this could be one of their final pushes. Deadeye used. Birdring looking for a couple. Oh my gosh!
Okay.
3 kills! How in the world did he pull that one off?
There were people that were peeking out from behind the Reinhardt shield.
I was going to say.
That was pretty sloppy.
Colossal mistake by Runaway. If it is just what I think it was, I didn't see that shield get turned forcefully.
And they just had to drop to the low ground.
What happened there?
They had to drop to the low ground. That was the ticket to victory. Everybody gets behind the Reinhardt shield. It's still going to shatter. So.
What in the world? That's not something you see every day.
I'd like to see that one again, for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. I would love to see a replay of that.
That's such a bummer for Runaway, too, because they were sitting strong with their ultimate bank, and one mistake,
well,
3 people eliminated.
I mean, I guess they still are, nearly 6 ults, but now they have to try to fight it back. They're going to start right here. They go for the Graviton Hog, but it gets stopped. Earthshatter comes in. Bumper does get the kill into Bubbly anyway. They're going to nano boost the Roadhog now. Gotta reload though.
Shatter there from KongDoo Uncia though, or actually no, Shatter came the other way from Runaway. But they stopped that with a sleep dart, must have been, from Lucid, so taking 2 ults out pretty much instantly.
Yep.
Onto Bumper. So push goes in favor of Runaway for the moment, but in the end, KongDoo will be happy that Runaway invested so much in that push.
Yep. Birdring's happy already. He knows he's got to play the game. All right, nano boost, Electric Cowboy again. They tried to lock them up a bit, but it didn't end up working out. No kills this time for Birdring. KongDoo Uncia still trying to push here. Stitch comes around the side, going for a bit of a flank. Can't really flank him if they get hooked though. Bumper with the kill into Butcher. And now
Birdring looking for it.
That's right.
Butcher, no contest once.
On the Cox, fan the hammer.
No!
Wow, could not finish the kill. It's hard to hit small targets with the fan the hammer like that.
That was a bit greedy. Normally just go for the left click headshots.
Yeah, I mean, depends on how confident you are in your aim in the situation, I guess.
That's a play you got to make, though.
Absolutely.
If you're Birdring, because
it was a golden opportunity.
Cost is high for him now.
Yep. All right. Graviton Surge for Runaway.
Oh
Everybody piles in there.
Everybody in the whole hog, and Graviton in the corridor.
I was going to say, Runaway with a solid defensive hold there, and probably the only one left. Lucio's mountain climbing adventure comes to a very abrupt end.
It's not how you want your mountain climbing adventures to end, though.
No, it's not.
That's pure tragedy right there.
That is, yeah. Everything was going well until the Helix rockets knocked me off the side of the mountain.
He was free climbing without any ropes, though, so you do take risks.
He was free climbing with rollerblades, which seems like a really poor decision in the first place. So, yeah, he got what he deserved, I think, in the end.
Kaiser wants to use this nano boost now.
Just delaying as much as he can. That payload is not moving, and there's only about 10 seconds left now.
He's winning the shield charge battle by just standing there, and nobody's actually pressuring him.
All right, they're
That's
going to let it
good
go.
for him.
Yep.
Finally.
Yep.
Wants an Earth Shatter, wants
Wants
the
the
flank,
hook.
wants the flank. Can he get it? He is.
Oh, nice Earth Shatter. Perfect. Gets nearly everybody behind the Reinhardt shield. Misses the pin. But meanwhile, Stitch comes back. And Hoxall has plenty of charge on that Zarya. Yeah. And now OT. And that is going to be a pretty decent hold for Runaway. Holding KongDoo Uncia to 1 point. And they do not need to push the payload very far, do they?
Certainly do not. Anchor, not up to his normal standards today, you have to say. A lot of the time here, there have been shatters that were... Kaiser's doing a good job, but that was really predictable. He was standing there tilting his shield on the payload, trying to minimize the damage, trying to win that shield war, and then he pops around the rocks looking for the flank, bunny hopping his way into a position where he can just nail the nano boost of Zarya instantly.
Yeah, the funny thing is that probably would have been a full hold on point A if Birdring hadn't gotten that miracle Deadeye too. So things are just really not looking good for KongDoo Uncia. This is absolutely the worst we've seen them all season long, and Runaway, I would say, continues to improve of late.
I can't believe it, though. This is a very different team.
I mean,
we saw they got crushed by KongDoo Panthera. It wasn't even close. They didn't have any semblance of teamwork.
I mean, we saw him say in the intro, though, that KongDoo Panthera is not KongDoo Uncia, and just because one beat him, the other one wasn't guaranteed an easy win, and they are proving that now. But it's kind of crazy, though, to see group stages, the entire group stage go one way, and we hit the playoffs, and suddenly the trajectories of both teams just do 180s.
Yeah.
Uncia going way down, and Runaway looking good.
And there's no excuse, right? This hasn't been the new patch. We're still on 1.7. We're still on the same patch that the group stage was played on.
That's right.
You don't have a surprising meta shift. It's Runaway tinkering with their roster and coming into their own. And KongDoo Uncia, communication, not what it used to be.
Looks like we may see a bit of 2-2-2 coming out for Runaway here. Bumper. Stitch on the Widowmaker again.
All right. Partial dive, well, pretty good dive composition. And they take the hold on the Big Rails. Triple Tank and Soldier, this has been the KongDoo bread and butter.
I'll dive to take the attention off the Widowmaker. Let Stitch have room for some good shots. Stitch sneaking around, not revealing his presence just yet. Looking for that pick now. Ooh, doesn't quite get the headshot on Birdring, but it was close, yeah. Very close. Either way, KongDoo Uncia a bit scattered as Hoxall comes into the back lines, charges through, gets a lot of damage done. KongDoo Uncia having a bit of a hard time on top of Big Earls here.
This is the kind of chaos that you want to
Exactly.
sow with this composition. You need to get them off the high ground, and they go in one by one, and that means it opens up so much space for this Widowmaker. If the Soldier comes out of position, well then the rest of the people just dive onto him. That's going to be it. That was really well done by Runaway.
That execution went exactly as they wanted to. Cause a bunch of disruption, scatter their defense, and then let Stitch get the damage done or get the picks. And
you don't have to hit the Widowmaker shots. It's a bonus if you do, but it's about playing as a team and forcing them to make bad decisions. If the Soldier runs up to try and deal with the Widow like we saw, well, guess what? Genji and Diva and Winston are there just to leap on top of him and eliminate him instantly.
Yeah.
You have to play very conservatively and just play back on the card. Try and get into a corner more or less. And
gotta
play with your Reinhardt shield.
Very aggressive by Dance to jump in there with a Winston. Stitch still lives though. Oh, but he gets hit with the Earth Shatter. Where's the follow-up? Shield comes in from Kaiser, and that actually saves a lot of people from dying there. Meanwhile, KongDoo Uncia does manage to stall out Runaway just a bit.
All right, so can they keep his push going? Looks like Hoxall have to deal with a close-range Diva with a huge amount of charge.
It's tough, but look at this. 4:35 on the clock left, and Runaway's nearly at the end of this entire match.
45 meters to go.
Yeah.
It's not a gimme, and Stitch is going to make a change.
Yep, wise to switch over to the McCree, I think. Ooh. Hit by the fire strike. That doesn't feel good.
I actually think they need to switch to McCree here, but they can.
I think if you just want to brute force the payload the rest of the way, I think it's a good idea. Meanwhile, the Topelstein is gone for. And Uncia, Stitch trying to zone people out to prevent more damage. Ooh, bigger shatter comes through. Hawksaw with the Dragon Blade. Going after the Lucio, not quite finishing him just yet. Lucid did go down, so if he can do this, I mean, he might as well have already killed him, right? He's got both supports out of the fight in a big way.
Murdering's got to mirror this attack. He's got to get Cox. He's got to start doing some damage, but he's not going to find it.
Yeah, that's right. Stitch, meanwhile, on his own, very low health. Finally gets a bit of healing going. Runaway pushing the payload. They've got it. And Runaway will take down KongDoo Uncia 3-1 in probably one of the biggest upsets we've seen this season.
That was a massive upset, Noah. You come into these quarterfinals and you think Runaway's probably the worst team, or maybe second worst to Africa Blue. They haven't shown that level of consistency, but they pick apart KongDoo Uncia tonight, and that certainly is a way to potentially make it into the semifinals. They have a big mountain in front of them with Lunatic High in the winners match, but this is now scary for KongDoo Uncia and scary for Envy, because one of them is going to be eliminated in a week's time.
Yeah, that's right. So the winners match will end up being Lunatic High versus Runaway, Envious versus KongDoo Uncia in the losers match here in our first quarterfinal group.
Where was that KongDoo Uncia? Where were they with their typical cohesion? Where were they with their thoughtful strategies and flanks? They didn't really approach the map in the same way that we've seen in the past today. They weren't taking the long flanks. They were running it and trying to brute force it, but that's a dangerous thing to do when you're playing against players like Hawksaw.
I mean, what can you say? Runaway playing a great set of matches, great set of maps today, and KongDoo Uncia, I gotta say, I think they kind of choked. I think the nerves got to him, or whatever reason, that coordination was not there. Not a single successful flank on the day.
Well,
And,
regardless, there's still a chance KongDoo Uncia can get their revenge on Runaway if they win their next match and Runaway loses.
Certainly
So
possible.
we could see a very similar match with just a few different maps.
That's the beauty of the group stage, man, is or this kind of group stage. It's dual tournament, so nothing is over yet. I love it.
Fans of Bumper on Runaway, and he deserved a lot of fans tonight. He had some pretty clutch plays, man. His diva on that second point in Volskaya, eating the pulse bomb and then saving runner. Good use of the defensive matrix.
Absolutely. Really curious to see what Uncia is going to look like in their next match now, because we know what they're capable of. Didn't see it at all today, and with such a big disparity between what we've seen from them before and what we've seen from them now, you got to wonder, is this a team that just has a hard time winning in the postseason? It's hard to tell, but we're going to find out. We said earlier